kid. Long as he get free, I don't give a fuck. I can take it. I'm a grown man. I can take it. Bring your motherfucking shit so we can see what's what. I know what's going on, but I can't speak on it right now because there's certain things that have not been put through yet. Right. So let the chips fall where they may. Ain't no police. Look, in the last 5 years, ain't damn police knocked on this door talking about no essays.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I ain't talking about Mexican eaters.
Right. Got it. Yeah, right. Man. And the proof is in the pudding. Like you said, time will prove itself. Yes, sir. We'll see. Yeah.
Yes.
And we are,
so, in the course of the action, we had a spiritual warfare. And we not fighting people. People think we fighting people. No.
Spiritual wickedness in high places. Yes,
this is vibrations and frequencies that hijack people's lives to sick them on other people that we call them the Agent Smith effect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
And some people can't control themselves from being an agent of the Matrix because the nature of the Matrix has to be exposed. This is the age of Aquarius. If I did some dirt, believe me, I didn't pay for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most natural.
Right.
And we all would have to repent, just like we all did, and we all would have to repent and move forward. You see what I said? And seek whatever forgiveness we have to seek if that was the case. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Natural. So I don't got no hard feelings for nobody, but if Big Mama sick me on your ass, I'm a ravenous pit bull. You know what a pit bull do in a dog fight.
Yes, sir. Go straight to the neck.
All the way to the death. That tail don't stop wagging. I'm doing what Mama sent me to do. I don't give a fuck where you come from.
Got it.
I don't give a fuck how big and bad your ass is. We gonna scrap this bitch to the death.
Most natural.
Hell up.
Yes, sir.
Hell up. That motherfucker ain't gonna stop wagging. Even when it's wagging to the last breath.
Yes.
That's my GD name. My growth and development name is the Pit Bull for a reason.
Boom, bang. Yeah, come on, GD. Big up all the sets out there. Big up all the sets chopping. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I like that. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Big bull.
The whole thing is the pot is calling the crystal black.
Wow. Got it. They said they're not even on your frequency range.
I'm not even on the stove. I'm on the counter being a motherfucking centerpiece to make this motherfucking whole kitchen look good.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
In the pot on the stove about to burn the fucking dish talking about the crystal because it's the pot on the stove that's being charred. I'm not the one in the hot seat.
Wow.
It looked like I'm in a hot seat. I'm cooler than the cucumber.
Exactly. I see it, Poppy. I see it, big dog. For real. Yeah, man. Everybody, mellow, balance. I mean, King. And that's how it has to be. Always. Yes, sir, man?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the truth will be revealed just like that. Like you said, it's in the aura, big dog. Always in the field. Yes, sir, man? And you can always, you just know. Those who know. Yes, sir, man? Yeah.
So my mama told me, if they talked about Jesus, baby, what the fuck make you think they ain't gonna talk about you?
Yes, natural. Yeah. Real life.
Look, the enemy is the same motherfuckers telling us Jesus is God.
Yes,
them the same motherfuckers nailed nails through his hands, put a crown of thorn on his head, nailed his feet to the cross, and stabbed him in the side with a spear.
Yes, sir.
And then the
same
motherfuckers telling us Jesus God. You killed your God, motherfucker. How the fuck? So what you think them same motherfuckers gonna do to us?
You truly. And they're running the same program. They have not stopped. And you know what's weird is how they still eat the flesh of their God and drink the blood of their God. You get what I'm saying?
That's a Babylonian blood ritual that comes out of the Mishnah and the Talmud.
Yes.
They think it come out of the New Testament as the Last Supper. The four Gospels is part of a 21-part play written by Josephus Flavius, and they took excerpts for it to give us the doctrine of what the Jews wasn't even created yet.
Ashe.
So remember, they take Josephus Flavius' writings. He's a Babylonian monk. They call him today. They call him a Jewish priest.
Got it. Exactly.
But he was a But he was a Babylonian monk.
Yes.
That left the exile of Babylon, and that's when they became known as Abrahamic. But it's an anagram for Brahma.
There you go.
Right?
Brahma.
Because they don't never want us to look to where the truth at. They need to scramble the letters and the words, creating anagrams in order to usurp the psyche of the people. Yes, the stories that's in the Bible they were all reworked from hieroglyphics.
Yes, they were. Definitely.
All of it was reworked.
Natural.
Isis became Jesus. And Horus became Emmanuel because he's the heir to the throne. Right? And Set became Satan. Osiris became the Father in heaven. Yes. Because he ain't in physical form until the son becomes Osiris.
Yes, natural.
Right?
The new
son. They took it because in our genetic memory, we gonna recognize these stories subconsciously, even if they out of order. And once we recognize them, we hooked.
Right.
Because they think their ancestors talking to them. But they tell you if your ancestors talking to you, that's the devil, that's evil. That's the voodoo, the vadoon. Never telling you that the voodoo is the mystic art of balancing Earth's people with the earth.
There you go.
All that old dark shit they be talking about ain't got nothing to do with that.
That's the reverse spin. That's not what we doing now.
Right.
That's the reverse spin. Got it, man. Yes, big dog. Get me, man. Yeah. You're right. Most natural. These are natural arts that they took and reversed and turned into this goofiness, whatever they want to call it. Yeah,
right.
Man.
So if you trace the word religion, it really properly translates as the many of Ra.
Legion. Say it again. One more time.
It translates as the many from Ra.
Lit.
Ra, Ra in English is Rareri. All that's Ra. Because the Grimm's Law of Grammar says when you transliterate a word from an original language into English, any vowel is usable.
Is interchangeable. Yes, sir.
All vowels are interchangeable.
Yes, sir. Facts.
And then they got specific consonants that can also be. This is how you get Negro from Necro.
Yes. Because
the K and the G can change in the transliteration in order to render to the people a code.
Figure out who you are, and she kind of wanted to have a conversation with you. But I was wondering if you were familiar with that. Maybe she was selected to be part of the Committee 300.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
first and foremost, because I had some of the most prominent Moors, when they seen me surface 2-3 years ago, came to me and told me, let's see what you got. Let's see what you can do. Right? And I didn't know them, and they all grand sheets, several of them across the land. But I didn't know they knew who I was or had heard of me until they contacted me. Right?
And have they been silent ever since? Have they been in the forefront?
That's the rule. Matter of fact, one of them called me. He said, "Brother, I'm not even supposed to be talking to you, but I know who you are, and after all this long wait, I had to see you and talk to you for myself." So he knew who I was even better at that particular point in time than I did. But I was more from the standpoint of I can solve the problem, but the people don't really want the problem solved. They'd rather go along to get along, so I don't want to participate under those conditions. And he told me, he said, I know you're going to fix it, but before you do what you're going to do, before the world see who you is and see you do what you're going to do, he said, I had to call you personally. He said, I've been waiting a long time to finally get to talk to you. So he knew who I was. Right? And I know for a fact that all of these Masonic lodges know who I am. I got too many messages that
see that depending on what you get ready to say, then they break you up. Let's see, y'all. This is fire stuff. This is stuff they don't want out. This is stuff they don't want out. They don't want you to know this stuff.
Lodges, very.
All right. Okay. Watch yourself, y'all. In the chat, be respectful. Be respectful. Okay. So, anyway, where were we? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you were talking about. I forgot what you were. Oh, there you go again. All right. For the most part, y'all are being respectful. A couple of you are being not respectful, but we always gonna have to have both sides on here. You just gotta be respectful in your disagreement. So far so good. Or at least I missed your comment if it was absolutely out of pocket. Let me see. All right. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the speed because you're on your phone, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the speed and all this being on all this long, the speed is a factor, so it slows you down. Plus, I'm pretty sure that they throw in some monkey wrenches in there because they don't.
Yeah, because I sure was saying that the Masonic lodges know who I am,
right?
And they didn't made it clear that they knew that I was here and that I was coming to clean this shit up. And they told other people who've in turn come back and asked me, "Is it true?"
Really?
Yeah. And those are card-carrying Masonic brothers of good standing in the lodge with a good reputation among the brothers of the lodge and the people in the community who've been in the community being active workers in the community. So I know they know what they're talking about because other than listening to my videos, and I don't be talking a whole lot of Masonic stuff, but I'm they dread. Okay. All of the ones that corrupted the lodges, because the lodges used to be rites of passage programs for the princes to learn how to rule and govern the people on the land, and it were all used and weaponized against us by some slimy, dirty, underhand players from the back rooms. As Farrakhan say, a few of you in a few smoke-filled rooms making decisions while the mainstream of the masses, poor, black, white, red, yellow, and brown, are suffering in this nation. Them the ones who know who I am that don't want me to be here. But it ain't nothing they can do about it because I'm protected by forces beyond their reach. So I don't care. I walk down the street like a regular person because to me, I'm just a regular person. Not until somebody asks me the questions about the redemption of the community and the information come out that they find out this ain't no regular motherfucker right here. There's something strange and different about him because he know what's going on and he's doing something about it. And he don't care what we think. That's the problem. I don't care what the people who's in that verse think for one reason. They don't know what I know. Sure. And if they don't know what I know, and I say, okay, well, since you think I'm wrong, I'm going to quit. Then we ain't going to never get nowhere. Right? So I'm going to keep telling the truth. I'm going to keep pointing at these dirty, dirty players until they all get drug out in the open. But we already at the end game now. See, Big Mama gave me a mission that as soon as I got done with the mission Big Mama gave me, you called me. That's not a coincidence. That is a coordinated attack from the spirit for us to do this and to tell the people to update across the land. Big Mama sent me on a mission.
That's right.
My mission was successful because I told her I didn't give a fuck what she needed me to do. If it's going to fix the problem, if it's digging dog shit with my bare hands to get to the solution, I'm going to be a digging dog shit scooping ass. Because it's fundamentally wrong and repugnant to who I am to see the people suffering from people being selfish, greedy, naive, and senseless. And if I got good senses, then that take me out of the category of the senseless. And if I ain't naive no more because I see what's going on, that take me out of the category of the naive, which tells me I'm not poor and defenseless, right? Which tells me that I can say something out in the open that contribute to us recovering from this condition that we've been in that's adverse to us as a people. In the Jubilee year, at the close of the age, after the contract been closed a minimum of 3 years, the people shall receive their redemption rights in the public domain. So this becomes a public notice by default from Big Mama, saying that she want all her daughters to get their shit. Because she sent her baby boy in there to get it, and he left no stone unturned. And so now, whoever they is, whatever lies they hide in, whatever secret society they under the covers of, whatever back room they dealing in, ain't nowhere to run and ain't nowhere to hide. Cause Big Mama sending them boys, Mama's boys, the real ones, to come get your ass, cause we know who all of the dirty players is, because we had enough time to study their moves. It's just chess. Checkmate, motherfuckers. That's how we say it. Big Mama say checkmate. It's over. I'm not gonna leave no stone unturned. Where they all flipped over, ain't none left in the creek. They all on the bank now. So since they all on the bank, we might as well break the bank and bring it on home. So I don't want that until all the man got all of theirs. And once they all paid, run man. So I had to go through the process of the refining of the information, the clarification of the misunderstandings, the showing of the misdirections from the David Copperfield show, which your earrings made of copper, to realize that it was just an illusion. And the three sisters talked to the seven sisters, which is a moon flip to a Pleiadian knot, in order to resolve the matter of the Pleiadian light lock that was secured by an Arcturian agreement at the Galactic Council. That we can't get under this shit unless one of us, organics to the earth, figure the solution to the problem by understanding all of the areas of people activity and how to effectuate change. One of us. We don't all have to do it, just one of us. But part of the problem is the one that discovers it now has to be on a Paul Revere ride across the nation. Instead of saying the British is coming, the organics is coming back. They coming back home to serve eviction notice on all of the squatters on the land. That's a knock to Dane Calloway, by the way. Because my cousin, Big Ray, and Ray is the Dane that they give chiefs. They name him Ray, and they name him Son. And the one that they call Big Papa is called the Big Son, because his son is always named after him, and he the little son, or when they call him by his name, whatever his father name is, he the little that. Mm-hmm. So you got John, which is Uncle Johnny, and his son is Little John. Right? So when we know how to read the language, my cousin flipped to me that the life is a game and he who dies with the most toys win. All you got to do is slow down. You already ain't scared to look in a book to find a solution. Follow that pattern and repeat until you get to the victory lane. My mama said the race don't always go to the swift. Sometimes it go to the slow. So watch the tortoise and the hare. So she flipped me because I always say I'm slow as a turtle. So it's a turtle nation knot off of a gorilla's back. You can't help it. They got to return everything they fucking took. All we got to do is get the message out to our people that it's over as soon as they do what I was forced to do during this beginning of this stuff. Divorce yourself from the fallen system that you get drugged down with it. Most people can't do that from fear. But Big Mama told me, fret not thyself for evildoers. For years I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Well, I told her, well, not only will I not fear no evil, I will destroy all evil that oppose my ability to impose righteousness across the land. So bring it on if you want to play. I'm a ghetto boy. Make my day. Right? So when we get to the real root of what's going on, I couldn't always tell people what I knew because I needed a way to tell it to them on their own level where they can digest the information and use it to their greatest advantage. The greatest advantage is this process that we are under right now because the sisters started separating themselves from the system July the 4th, and when a sufficient number of them separate, it's over whether the men do it or not. Because we're going back to matriarchal rules, the children first, family first, and the rest of that shit can take a back seat to hell. We don't want it, if it's not benefiting the collective?
I think it's interesting that the movie that's coming out, I don't know whether it's coming out is it before the summer's over or in the fall, with the Warrior Queens or whatever. I think it's very interesting. With Viola Davis.
I haven't seen that movie, Dr. G.
The trailer, well, it's not out. It's not out, but the trailer is like, it makes you like, yes, you know. It to me is it even puts Black Panther on the back burner, because it's like queen. Well, they call them queens, but you know, we know queenies, but it's melanated sisters fighting and destroying, doing exactly. I think it's a metaphor for what needs to happen in the spiritual realm.
Not only is it a metaphor, it's rooted in historical facts.
Right.
Here's a historical fact. When the men couldn't get the job done on the battlefield, the women got the job done. And so just so that people can have a reference to what I'm talking about, research Anne Zingha.
Queen Zingha, yeah.
Research Queen Makita and research the Candace Queens. When they said Alexander conquered the world, when he ran into the Candace Queens, he made a sharp left turn and went into the Indus Valley. He didn't want no parts of that. Right? When the Anne Zingha brother, the general of the military, kept getting his ass handed to him by the Dutch and the Portuguese, she gave him a final warning before a battle. She said, if you lose this battle, don't come home. I'm going to take over the army, and I'm going to show you how victory is won on the battlefield. And he went to go fight the Portuguese and the Dutch. They handed his ass to him. The scout came back that she sent to follow him and said they're getting their ass handed to him. As they was in retreat from the battlefield, she passed them on the battlefield going to the fight. She was kicking their ass so bad they wanted to negotiate. But they wanted to humiliate her by making a woman stand up. She got gorillas for bodyguards. We don't play that. You're not going to disrespect this sister. I be her seat. She can sit on me because you ain't going to look down on her in my presence. Right? So the man becomes a proper support, even in a secondary position. You still got to be the proper support for the sisters. And when we can't get the job done, we have to recognize Big Mama got a group of girls that she sent in at the end as the final cleanup crew, and they tear this motherfucker up with the laws of nature. They not finna go fight you with their fists. These are the final. You don't want this part to happen, but you will know if it do, because it's gonna be the most beautiful storms you ever seen, tearing shit up, coast to coast, 360 around the globe. Right? It's a hurricane, but it's pink lavender with lace swirl around it. Who's seen that shit before? That's why they
call it what? A hurricane.
But we in the ancient days, we used to call it the most beautiful destructions, because it'll be a hailstorm, what they call gorilla hailstorm, with fist-sized hail balls falling, and it might be lightning in purple, green, and lavender tints of electrical bolt in the middle of the storm, and it looks so sweet you don't want to go in, but them hail balls get to hit you, you can't stay out there. Right? But you want to see it, but you know it ain't safe.
Right.
That's how you know when the final wave finally hit, when Big Mama finally turned her big girls loose.
You
have heard the saying, put on your big girl panties.
You're breaking up again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Somebody had called in and interrupted my feed.
Okay. Stop calling him.
But you ever heard the term "put on your big girl panties"?
Yeah.
That's what they all make.
That's when it get real. When it get real, you're gonna have to deal with this issue. Yep, you're gonna have to put your big girl panties on and
don't make them sisters put on their big girl panties. Talking about earthquakes. So when they say put on your big girl panties, this way, it's a certain energy that the women lock on to when they dance and they shaking their hips. It's called the sway of the matriarchs. They can make mockery of it in the Dumbo movie. And you see the elephant swaying back side to side.
Mm-hmm.
I actually posted some sisters doing it in Africa, and they all dressed in blue dresses. I think that's on my Morpheus page, but it might be on my Rod Hayes Facebook, because they deleted my other Rod Hayes off Instagram. But the dance is a conjure. It's only to cause earthquakes. And the more of the grand matriarchs, in order to be a grand matriarchs, they have to have a certain amount of prestige as among matriarchs. The men don't rank the matriarchs, they rank each other by most loved, most respected. And the ones who reach the top become Big Mama's representatives, ambassadors to Earth. And when the daughters of Earth is subjugated, they the last line of defense after they send me. And y'all don't want them sisters to come out, because when them earthquakes hit, they don't just shake local areas, they shake land masses. So I got videos already in past where I was talking about the women in the marching of the matriarchs. The March of the Mayors is a 50 sisters conjure that was done in order to ensure that they can't lose. Once they done that, it was over with. It's just a matter of the magnitude of the events is going to cause a certain amount of time for it to come from spirit to physical, because a global change is so huge. The minimum amount of time on the turnaround is 3 years. And that's why when we closed the contract out July the 4th, 2019, it took 3 years for the women to decide to begin a migration away from the old systems around the world. What we don't know in America, and the mainstream media is never going to cover it, is they still watching what's known as the Soviet Republic of China, the SRP. They're not in power. The Republic of China, ran by the matriarchs, took over 3 years ago, and I had posted it when it happened because I had to put it in the public domain. So when I tell people I've already reported on, it's nothing new. Every one of these countries now is working on restoring their original matriarchal order. It's just that we the last ones left.
Well, you have a lot of them. Look, I mean, quick wisdom, but you have all these mayors. I mean, like a prime minister. Boris Johnson resigned, and 50. They said ministers resigned all over. You know, the alleged guy in Japan was murdered, allegedly, or maybe not. Maybe it was a show. But all of these, you see all of these leaders either stepping down or being brought down for some reason or another. I mean, this is a lot happening at the same time. So it is a signal of something, of change, definitely.
Right. So in corporate America, the women is taking over the CEO positions. It's not that the men not allowed to have CEO positions. It's just that they have to first make it a new culture at the CEO position to have the interest of everybody in the company at heart when decisions is made. And women does this naturally. So Mary Barra from General Motors is leading the matriarchal reclaiming of the corporate America from the secret societies that was ruling it. And that's on the corporate side. On the political side, there's key women, all of them not revealed, in political places that's going to be making statements to reveal that the matriarchy is back in control. All this is going to just unfold after we see what happened with the tribunals that's going on with the deep state scenario. All that's got to come out to the public domain. And we going from Pisces believing to knowing in Aquarius. And we at the part now where we beyond the 50% mark of the year.
Listen, I'm gonna see how I can say this, because I saw a video, and I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but somebody, I think, either sent it to me, but I was looking at it on my television, and literally they have a video out with the guy HB, the son, and with excerpts from the laptop, and the parts they trying to show it so you don't look, but you can see literally what's going on in that. And I'm thinking, if this don't make some changes, I mean, it should have happened before his father got in, but nevertheless, I mean, somebody has a video out there, like a little music video, they're calling it, and they have clips from it. Literally, I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but I saw it yesterday, and I was like, can you hear me?
I've
I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I hear you now.
Dr. G?
Yes.
Okay. So I've been telling people for about 3 months now, watch the Hunter Biden laptop so you don't get caught off guard. Because it's the straw that broke the bull's back.
It's out.
Once they entered into congressional evidence, that was the public notice that it was going to be the source by which they expose everything. So now they slow leaking clips from the laptop as a indicator of what's to come, and they're doing this because they have to soften up the people so they don't take it so hard when they realize how deep this rabbit hole went for us to reach the bottom and clear it all the way out. The Biden, the laptop, I'm not going to say nobody's name, but
Right.
the laptop is going to trigger another laptop scenario in a different file out of New York about some child sacrifice that's going to also expose, or it's going to come out in a cross section of information between the Maxwell House trial, which was coded, by the way, just so I didn't get
The coffee trial. Yeah, I got
right. So her trial and the laptop scenario, or the two laptops, gonna all end up converging at the pizza parlor, if you get what I'm saying.
I get you.
So while they exposing what's going on at the pizza parlor, that's gonna be the shock and awe and the last hurrah to give the people the inside scoop. And this is when we're going to start having 24-hour tribunal TV showing us all of the people that's been tried and what they've been tried for: crimes against humanity, human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, arms trafficking, all kind of stuff from all over the world. You're going to have high figures of society being dirty laundry drug out in the open, because the military strategists say if the incoming king wants to win favor with the people, after he thwarted the conspiracy, he dragged the conspirators out before the people and laid the conspiracy bare so that the people can understand the doom that they were rescued from, and they become supporters of the king as he restored the land and the water and the air. The people not going to never support you if you don't show them the ugliness that you went through and on the behalf of the people in order to restore everything, right? So while we doing public notices to the grassroots, because that's all we doing with these conversations, trying to educate the grassroots on how to see beyond the charade, to see the show going on behind the scenes. So I had to break it down into what you call bite-sized morsels and throw a couple of colorful epithets in there, because to be politically correct when the politics
We got you. They got you breaking up again. Can you hear me, Rod? Because you're breaking up again. We are ready to close in just a bit, y'all. I appreciate each and every one of you all. If you came in late, because I see a bigger number than there was before. If you came in late and you didn't see the beginning of this video, this interview, I want you to go back and give it another look and share it, because this has been very, very eye-opening, and a look into the life and the background of Brother Rod Hayes, how he has gotten to the place where he is now, because so many people have been focusing on just what he says, and not as many have been, knowing the man behind what the man says. So we appreciate you all for being on here. You're 1,300 plus strong, and that's a good thing. I want you to like, if you haven't, please subscribe to this channel. And I want to say this to you, Brother Rod, whatever you want to finish, try to get it in right now before they block you, and then I'll do the thing, bringing you up. So whatever you were saying, look, go on with it.
Okay, so This is where we at the end game. We really past the end game now. So what we need to be looking for is a sudden dump of information. It's gonna come all at once because it's been held back and it's been seeping out in little clips. So that's like a leak before a dam break. That little sprout of water in the cartoon before it ruptured the whole dam. You can't.
Mhm.
From referring to them when we see their tribal rights back under our system that they were denied under the corporate fiction that was the interim government for the time of war. That's over with. They closed made March the 1st. Right. So well that's the scheduled day of closing. They're supposed to have been closed. But they have no bill on the table to try to extend their legal fiction any longer than March the 1st. So we will be having a national Mardi Gras next year. Trump announced it as a 250 year celebration, right? Which takes us to February the 25th, and it's 25 on two flips, which is 2 quarters. 2 quarters is 50 flip. And you have 50 on each side. That's 200, which is the 4-corner shuffle to put everything back in its proper order. There's balance on both sides. 2 quarters on this side, 2 quarters on that side, which turns out to be 4 sevens, which is 4 masters. So it's all about getting back to our own systems so that we can be self-determining and autonomous, and we can make all of those decisions at the leadership summits about who gonna settle where and how we gonna tribe up. We got the right to restore our cultural heritage any way we see fit without anybody's outside opinion even being given a fuck about. It's not about what they think or want us to do. It's about what we decide to do amongst ourselves at this point. We have to choose how we want to be as a people across the land.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A lot of people's feelings is hurt because they believed for so long a thing was one way. And when you find out for the first time, damn, I got tricked. That's not the first thing that you feel, though. The first thing you feel is the anger and the resentment of the fact that you was tricked. Then the next thing that you feel is, I didn't mind finding out I was tricked, but why did it have to be this motherfucker to tell me? Because the person that they expect to see is not the person that appeared with the information to set them free. And so you don't look the part. They reject what you're saying as if you don't know what you're talking about.
I love that answer.
It's a response to cognitive dissonance in the negative.
It's almost.
But see, that's part of shadow work too, finding your self-identity. Can't nobody tell you who you is. If you let everybody tell you who you is, they creating your artificial ego for you.
That part.
Because your ego is the sum total of everything anybody told you about you that you believe without investigating to find out if it was true.
That's right.
I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I don't think everybody supposed to agree on everything all the time anyway, or we'd all be some fucking idiots. Only if you disagree and then you go to prove it wrong and you find out you prove it right, do you change your mind. Oh, I done been everything but a child of God.
Me too.
Right.
And so
Well,
I
I'm wrong because I asked the question.
mhm. Look,
But
I
Nick,
feel like anybody got a right to feel and think however they want. That's their right. I just don't have to give a fuck. I never read that nowhere where because you don't like me, I have to be overly concerned about it. I don't care. I don't care. You're supposed to have your own perspective of your life, right? It just so happens that most people believe they have their own perspective, but they following some dogmatic pursuit somebody else gave them. I'm not following dogma.
Nisha
I'm
had a question
I'm
for you.
I'm following what's in my heart. My heart told me where I belong. Period. So they running into the paper genocidal construct where they reclassified us under fictitious terms and alternate definitions of who we are as a people, so we would always disassociate who we are from the land. I know where my parents is from. I know what tribes are from those lands, so I don't care what they say. I know my history because my mom and my daddy told me my history over my lifetime, and my aunties and my uncles. They told all of the stories of the family that allowed me to reach back generations of information through the stories that they would tell. I don't need a DNA test to prove who I am. I said who I was. That's proof for me. It don't have to be proof for somebody else. When I tell a person I'm Mississippi Clay Dirt Walking, that's because my people come from Mississippi. And I got a strong connection to the land in Mississippi. And my father's Canton, Mississippi. My mother's from Magnolia, Macomb, Mississippi. Most of those towns, Tylertown to Macomb, is built on my grandfather's actual own settlement. They carved it up and built cities on his land. I know who Hezekiah Johns was. So when they don't know who their ancestor was, they can't tie back in to the information because they disregard the word of mouth for the paperwork of the educational or miseducation system. So I don't follow that. I follow what my elders and my ancestors told me that's crossed over now while they was in the physical form, more so than what's written in the book. Africa was created by the Berlin Conference.
But the continent was there, but it wasn't called Africa. We've
Right.
always, and I hope people understand, we've always been a tribal people. But these statuses and names through invasions and conquering and all this has been put on in different places.
Look, you remember earlier? You remember earlier I said on the East Coast we were marrying between the royal families of Africa for thousands of years. That landmass has always done trade with the tribes over here.
Okay.
We kept a lot of the African cultural traditions in the Gullah Geechee community because they the descendants of amalgamation of original people from this land and the people they did trade with from Africa. Some of the ones that we called Native Americans that was on the West Coast was due to us, the original tribes, amalgamating with the tribes that was from Asia when we did West Coast trade across the Pacific. If you don't know the pattern and the path that the enemy took when he got here, he will confuse you about these details. But the Chinese and the Japanese have a record of doing trade with the tribes over here and bringing brides from over there to over here. It's in their records. So we don't need the records from the settlers because we can go to China and get their records. And they would gladly produce them.
How long has it been called Africa, Rod? Do you know that?
It was at the Berlin Conference. I think it was like 1780 something.
Right. But when the full continent was called Africa, was now in the 1800s.
Right. So at first, Africa was a region in the northern part of Al Maghrib. It was only a region because of the war we was fighting against people from Al Maghrib. And we go into this kind of war with them. They named the whole continent Africa in the Berlin Conference because that's when they Ifraq in Arabic. They divided Ifraq. They divided up the land. They divided up the land in the Berlin Conference. Right? We didn't call it Africa. Over here, we used to refer to the land as the Afar Inca.
Okay.
The Afar Inca is a homonym for Africa. So we knew we called it Afar Inca, and we knew we had trade with people from over there, as proven by Mansa Musa, right? In that his brother found it so heavenly over here amongst our women, he didn't want to go home, and he brought his spear of rulership to this land and presented it to the big mama over here.
But I'm hoping people, excuse me for interrupting, I'm hoping people are hearing you, that there's always been a connection.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, people are saying, like someone just said, that my great grandparents, it was called Africa at the time. Well,
because look, they wasn't. But great grandparents back is just when they named it that. They would have said they tried. They would have identified. And over there right now, the only time they identify themselves outside they tribe is when they're attaching it to the modern terminology for their country. Otherwise, if they talking to each other, they identify their tribe to each other. They know each other by tribes. But when they go out into the world, they have to use what the rest of the world has accepted as the norm. So they identify their tribe from this country. Right? They don't identify themselves as Africans, even because they're going to tell you they Nigerian. They're going to tell you they from Swahili. I mean, from Tobago or Togo.
Of course, yeah. Even
Algeria, Kenya. They're not going to say they Africans. So Africa is a broad contextual catch term to list every tribe over there. They don't agree with each other about their tribal origin, but each tribe is in a country they forced to accept by settlers, colonizers. They didn't divide the land up. They told us when they divided it up at the Berlin Conference, which made the Spanish-speaking Arabs and the Arab-speaking peoples that was in the conference call it Ifraq, the divided lands that was divided up in the Berlin Conference. You hear people talking about it was called Al-Qiwalan. That means the land before. Before what? It wasn't called, that's an Arabic term. So it must have been the land before the Arabs came. Or was it when the Arabs came before the Spanish came? What do it mean? What is it in reference to? Because the culture over there is very similar to the culture over here. When we name something, we name it based off of a trait or characteristic. Right? So what is it the land before? They calling it that now, using the Arabic tongue to refer to the land was there before the settlers came, but we don't know their culture, so we assume that that's the accepted name of all of the tribes over there. Old maps got Sudan wrote across them and some of them got the Greek Ethiops written across it. That's Ethiopia and Sudan, which has been rendered only to two countries now. But at one time, the map had that scrawled, the navigator scrawled that across there, not me. Look, I never seen the person's DNA test say more.
or Indian?
Oh, well, I've seen Indian on DNA tests.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, but I've
I've-
never, not one time ever, seen more on a DNA test.
I've seen Native American. I have never seen Indian.
Yeah, it's normally Native American / Indian.
Oh, okay. Is that
That's
what
how
you
they.
were Nisha, or was it just Native American?
No, what it said was indigenous. That's the
Oh,
man said
indigenous.
indigenous.
Mhm. So it probably depends on where you're getting the test from too. And then remember, it's for entertainment purposes, cause so they can alter the designations. If too many of us becoming aware, they'll alter the designation and change the meaning.
Oh.
It's for entertainment purposes only.
Say that again. They'll alter what? Say it again.
They'll alter the designation and change the definition
Okay, so they're going to alter it
when they feel like it, because it's for entertainment purposes only. It's at their discretion. But as soon as we become hip to their games, then that's when they start trying to move pieces around. When they call us all those different terms, that's called a razzle dazzle. Noble Joe Ali said, "Man, is truth and falsehood strangely mixed." What is he talking about? All DNA tests is controlled from a central source because they got to go to what they call a data information bank.
Mm-mm. I'm going to disagree on that one.
Ask yourself, where is the Africans getting the genome codes for the ones that's native and organic to this land? Where is they getting the genetic codes to the ones from Asia, from Australia, from New Zealand? All of this is in a central database. The central database is a supercomputer located in Geneva, Switzerland. This is where all of your internet connections feed to. This giant supercomputer is where it's the source for AI. It's called HAL 366. But it's really IBM. If you look at the words, they just move down the word. HAL is HAL, HIABLM, IBM. It's a code. They don't want us to know all of that, all of the educational data that's been controlled by colonists is still controlled until we take control of the entire system. If we don't take control of the system, what they say is the order of the day, what they say is the law, what they say is the rules, because they the ones that we responsible to get rid of. Their systems, the colorable law systems. When you start talking about DNA, there's a book called Mendelian Inheritance in Man that gives you the whole descriptive breakdown of the DNA, what genome holds what trait. It's all in the central database. All of the universities of the world is connected into a central database. So they might use a different way of testing. Instead of a swab of the mouth, they might use skin scrape. But when you go back to getting to the data that they're using, they have to have all of the genetic codes of the earth if they're going to tell you from a different part of the earth from over there. Otherwise, they would only have a collection of African DNA of Africans in Africa. So they have to branch out and get the codes that tells you whose DNA is what.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all for entertainment purposes. This the game of the gods, where deception is overcome. It is because it's a puzzle. It's the razzle-dazzle play. Look, David Copperfield gonna make a jet disappear in Vegas. We going to see it. Everybody on the way to go see David Copperfield illusion of making the jet disappear. See on the sign that they're calling David Copperfield the greatest illusionist ever known. And when we get there, we say, I'm not going to let him trick me or making me think the airplane disappeared. Soon as he make the airplane disappear, we forget that he's the greatest illusionist in the world.
Mm.
And we start saying, how the hell he make that plane disappear? It was still just an illusion. And now we trying to figure out how he did it. He had to make that plane disappear. It was an illusion. He told you that. They told us in Morals and Dogma that they was going to give us a whole lot of dogma to override our moral compass that's going to tell us where to be located on the land. They gave us the whole layout of the playout of their entire system in Morals and Dogma and in Protocols of Zion. The Protocols of Zion told us exactly how they was going to keep us conquered. They was going to control economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war.
And it happened.
And they the ones been feeding us all the doctrinal information on those subjects since they've been here. So, of course, when we start getting into the health arena, which I call the 10th one, they're going to control that narrative too. That's why pharmaceutical companies write all of the medical books, finance all of the medical institutions. They're not working for us.
Yeah.
If they ain't working for us, who the fuck they working for? It's a plutocracy. It's a big old monopoly game in the game of the gods. I'm just telling y'all how the game plays so y'all can see through their bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Flame Kings landed on the chessboard. But they ain't know where they can go because it's the queen stationed in every corner. And the queen run the chessboard. She can move in ways that the rest of the pieces can't move.
It's the same way they did with religion.
Religion was one of their tools.
One of their tools. Same thing.
It's fall right under that category. Thanks. Shout out to Dr. Neely Fuller for making it clear.
And we're all being played like a piece on a chessboard or a checkerboard or something. We're just being played.
So the fact that we intermarried with people from Africa on the Eastern Shoreboard for thousands of years, many of the people from the Eastern Shoreboard genetic memory gonna call them back to Africa. But all of us is not gonna be called back to Africa through genetic memory. Only the ones who have to be over there to activate a birthright. Now, some of us is going to be deceived over there and become food for wolves, or I should say hyenas. Because the false narrative, if you don't rise above that bullshit, you will be led anywhere in the world, just like Jim Jones led all them people to Guyana and had them drinking the coffee or the Kool-Aid, right? Because they had no self-identity because they was absorbed in the doctrine of the dogma of the church. So the leader of the church lead them wherever he want to lead them, straight to their own destruction. It's the same thing. You can repatriate because a lot of people from Haitian descent is starting to wake up and feel like they need to be in Haiti, but they don't know why because they don't know they Haitian. Haiti calling her babies back home to rebuild Haiti. Jamaica calling her babies back home to rebuild Jamaica. St. Lucia and St. Croix is calling their babies back home to rebuild. Puerto Rico and Dominica is doing the same. But we don't understand what's taking place, and a lot of the people that's being drawn back to their homelands at this time don't know that that's where they're supposed to be at the close of the age. So some of them are being deceived over there, but some of them is going because they need to get their ass back to Africa to help them reclaim their shit. I don't got no problem with nobody from Africa. They can be unapologetically African as they want, and I'm going to be unapologetically organic to this land. That's all. It's not a conflict to me. It's only a conflict to the people that want me to feel like I'm from where they think they from. Whether they right or whether they wrong is not my concern. I am aware of where I'm from. So since I'm aware, I'm going to pretend that I don't hear none of their nonsense, and I'm going to pursue what is rightfully ours as a people by exercising my blood and my right to do so. And the more clans that can benefit, the better it is for the collective. So Africa is rebuilding Africa. If we ain't watching, we don't see them reclaiming their shit, kicking colonizing powers out, closing down the mines where they've been stealing their resources and not benefiting the people of the land. All that shit coming to an end globally. And the people that's being drawn to their land need to go home. I don't care where they from. I'm at home. But the other people that need to go home is being called home by their land. They need to go. I don't care whether it's China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand. I don't give a fuck if it's Ethiopia, if it's Scandinavia. When the land call your ass, you better move or you're going to be food for the sharks. That's all. It's not nothing personal. This has to be done. Everything has to be restored back to balance for the new age to take full effect. And the benefits of the new age is a golden era. An era where we have technology unseen in thousands of years. They make us think it's new, but it ain't none of this shit new. Ain't nothing new under the sun. We done did all of this stuff we doing before. We going through all of the struggles we going through before, except before we didn't never successfully close the age, so we were stuck in the infinity loop. So we had to keep doing it over and over till we get it right. And they wouldn't let me play in none of the reindeer games until now. So now I'm just gonna lead y'all to the promised land.
Okay, last question. I'm right. What are your thoughts about interracial dating?
I don't care who you date.
Mm-hmm.
Date who you want to date. Because now, with the one drop of blood doctrine being taken full effect, we all related whether we want to be or not. All the mulattoes that so-called left the plantation, where they go? They didn't go with us. Only a handful of them went with us. The rest of them went married into somebody else. But they still got their drop of blood. Everybody got the right to ascend. Anybody that don't belong here won't be here because the earth gonna turn them off. So I don't care what you do. So they found bones up around Philadelphia that's older than this, were like 80,000 years old. They found them in Florida. All over the land, they've been finding bones that's older than bones that they've recovered from Africa, except for Lucy. Humans is primates.
Humans are primates?
Yeah, based on genetic definition of a primate.
Based on the status that they put us in with primates?
Based on the description, okay, so you got mammals, and then the mammals is broke up into types, and then they broke up into types.
Oh.
Right? And on the mammalian hominids are under the classification of primate.
Well, if you believe in that, then you're sure you do not believe in out of Africa theory, because all that comes together.
Are you talking about the evolution from a monkey to a human?
Yeah.
I don't believe that shit.
Oh, okay, well, that's pretty much what they're saying the primate stuff is like.
No. Look, at different times, you have different upgrades to the genome. As these upgrades take hold, it alters the genome of the